Namaste. Welcome to Bharat Vichar. Today we are joined by Air Vice Marshal Pranay Sinha, retired. Sir, welcome to Bharat Vichar and Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, Balaji. Nice to be on your platform, Bharat Vichar.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, there is an old Chinese saying which has been translated in English that may we live in interesting times. It actually is a curse. Apparently, it's a curse. And 108 years ago, the First World War started in Europe and it spread across all over the world. It had implications across the world. Now, I'm not saying that this will lead to a world war because we are now interconnected. Everyone is interconnected economically. We are interconnected with China, Russia, US, Europe. But this Ukraine fiasco has created a lot of problems for the entire world. We are talking about economy, growth, and everything. So I just wanted to state that and then move on immediately to the first question, which some people asked me that why did Putin keeps saying that demilitarization and denazification of Ukraine is necessary, sir? If you could amplify this statement by Putin, sir, please.
Thanks again, Balaji, for inviting me on this platform. See, this was the address on Thursday, day before yesterday, when at early morning, 5 a.m. of the Ukraine and Russia time, when Putin invaded or went for liberating some areas in Ukraine. And he said that, in fact, he set the objective very categorical and very clear. He said that the aim is to demilitarize and denazify. We'll understand this. Understand, as you all know, that war is continuation of politics by other means. So the objective has been set by Putin very, very crisply. And in fact, he gave 1 hour long speech. It's worth reading it, understanding. Viewers are requested to go and see this on the Google. First, demilitarization means Putin is very, very wary of, in his neighborhood, any NATO coming there. North American Treaty Organization, as per him, this is the red line. Initially, Russia was ensured during Gorbachev time that NATO will not expand, it will not come east side, it will stop somewhere. But somehow Gorbachev was not able to codify. Of course, there is some murmur going on that Gorbachev was not given this assurance. But this is a very, very irritating point. In fact, not irritating. It hits very much the psyche of Putin and the psyche of Russia. NATO coming and breathing on the neck. He is very wary that in the neighboring countries, especially if you start Kazakhstan, then Georgia, then Ukraine and Belarus, he doesn't want any in these countries NATO. So demilitarized means there should not be any military that is anti-USSR, anti-Kremlin in this neighborhood. So he wants to make sure. And for Ukraine, he gave the choice. Either you don't go join or be neutral. So he wants to demilitarize. That is one of the. So he wants to enter into Ukraine and he wants to blend the military power of Ukraine, or in case he capitulated, he wants that it should be pro-Russia. That is the first line. Now, denazification. This is very interesting. Allow me to elaborate this because it will take
yes, sir, please go ahead.
2-3 minutes to understand. Because denazification means what he is saying, that there is in the Russia and in all these European countries, there is a right-wing group called neo-Nazis. Okay, So neo-Nazis are the right-wing group, and this right-wing group is aligned to the Western countries. Means, in fact, not only aligned. I will make a claim that they are funded by the CIA overtly, covertly, and Open Society Foundation to liberate this communist bloc countries and topple these communist leaders and get this is called color revolution. Now, please understand that the first color revolution took place in November 2003. That was rose when Russia was shocked when in Georgia, the pro-Kremlin leader Edward Swaradze was thrown out in November 2003. The first Rose Revolution took place. And after he was thrown, Russia was shocked. But what happened? George Bush, now see the American how they are playing it. George W. Bush nominated Georgia and Ukraine for a NATO membership in 2008 at Bucharest summit. Despite both countries were not entitled for getting the NATO membership because they never qualified the criteria. But this annoyed so much Putin, he attacked Georgia in 2008. And he filed the bid to join NATO. And not only that, he declared two regions, Abkhazia and Ossetia, as they were being fought by the pro-Russian separatist fighters as autonomous region, free region. This was 2008. Come after 2003 Rose Revolution, there comes Orange Revolution, again in the name of liberating Ukraine and tilting towards western side. This happened in 2004 when that strongman, pro-communist, pro-Kremlin Viktor Yanukovych was defeated, and then he lost the election to the reformist competitor. But the discontent was there, and this Orange Revolution government again failed to get the maximum vote in 2010. The Viktor Yanukovych again came back. This time in 2013, what he did, he said he will not join association agreement with European Union. That means he denied to sign the agreement to join with European Union. Not only that, he took $15 billion bailout loan from Russia. And this had a massive protest because for the Ukrainian, they said, we have sold out to Russia and we want to go for, and this became a massive protest, which is known as Euromaidan. European for going for European, and Maidan is that ground. Today it is now in the Kiev, it is the Independence Square. So it was a massive protest. And he fled to Russia. And because again this happened, so in March 2014, Crimea, the peninsula sitting on the Black Sea, was annexed. They went, Russian army went there, liberated it. Referendum took place. Crimea was liberated because they wanted to control the Black Sea. And their big naval base in Sevastopol was there. Black Sea Fleet is there. So this happened. But at the same time, it never stopped there. Like remember Abkhazia and Ossetia? Here also there were two regions in the east side of Ukraine, which was by the pro-Russian sympathizers, and they revolted because they never liked Yanukovych going. So they revolted, and 2014, 2015 started a war in Ukraine. In fact, Russian army went in. If you remember, somewhere in July, one of the Malaysian airline also was shot down. So, but then This fighting continued. Thereafter, a Minsk agreement. We'll talk on the Minsk agreement a bit. This trilateral accord between Russia, Ukraine, and something called Organization for Security Cooperation in Europe, OSCC, that time being represented by the Germany and the France, they came and they signed agreement. Twice agreement was signed. One Minsk agreement, 114 in 2015. Somehow the Minsk agreement has not been fulfilled. You can give pro and cons from Ukraine side. They are saying the ceasefire violation continued. It asked for ceasefire violation. Also asked that parliament of the Ukraine to ratify these two regions, Donetsk and Lugansk, where the separatists were fighting, Donetsk and Lugansk, which both comprise of Donbas region. Donbas is like Doaba. In Punjab, mein Doaba, do ka beech mein na Doaba. It is Donbas, two regions. Okay, Donetsk and Lugansk, and this thing, and that's why Putin went to there, and he has already declared them as this thing. So what I said is he's anti Nazi forces, means the neo-Nazi who are the right wing. So that is he has said that this government of Ukraine is druggists and Nazis and neo-Nazis. I have to get rid of this. He's appealing the army, Ukraine army. Okay, please topple down. Yeah.
So we all know that this was bound to happen one of these days, but no one expected that it will go this far. When Putin declared Donetsk and Luhansk area as free, everyone thought that, okay, he has got what he wanted without firing a shot. Of course, both those areas have strategic importance because it is highly industrialized, and no need to get into that. Putin wanted. It's not about trying to stop NATO. It's also about trying to get hold of resources. It's not about the land. It's about the resource which is available in that land. Second World War, the Nazis went to Slovakia and they got hold of the Skoda factories because they were manufacturing engines and were very, very good. And the Nazis needed that. Anyway, sir, my next question is that why is everyone so shocked that Putin did what he did? Couldn't the mandarins in America, you got the foggy bottoms, and in Britain you have the Whitehall, all those mandarins, couldn't they read the tea leaves that they were so shocked that, oh my God, we never thought that he would go this far?
Incidentally, first time the CIA prediction came to be true. CIA was predicting from the very beginning and that Putin is going to attack. It was not being believed by Zelensky, and it was not being believed by the other people because they thought that Putin will not go this far. There were reasons. Reasons means the war was going on. Or for Ukrainian, if you ask any Ukrainian, they will say, no, we are under war since 2014. Last 8 years, we are under war. We are under cyber war. We are under info war. We are under this war. So they said, we are under war. What else? This thing. And in last spring means March 2021, Putin had come with this much forces and he went back. So they said again, this is a drama he plays, and at the max he will put some more his forge in the garb of separatists, and he will try to do all this nonsense. So they were only believing in this factor. Zelensky was relying on the European Union so badly that after the attack, he spoke to 27 leaders, and what they said, Baba, you defend we are not going to put the boots, and because you are not the NATO members. Yes, sir. And that is the truth. Let's face it. And India realizes this. We have to put our boots on the ground. Nobody will come and fight a war for you until there's some accord, some agreement, and some alignment. So Zelensky always believed that no, he will be getting all the aids and all the things, and he will overcome, and he's very pro-rightist. He had got 73% vote and he's vocal critic of this thing. So by the way, China also, what happened? China also, in fact, I will ask your viewer, they can go on my Twitter handle, and I have pinned my one earlier interview on the video on this issue. There I am discussing that this will happen after the Olympic thing is over. Winter Olympic in Winter Olympic after 20th February. So this, our prediction was this much. Yes, why he chose that time? In fact, China also must be shocked, because China also never anticipated that this will happen. In fact, there is a school of thought from the Chinese side. The Chinese wanted that this should go as much as far, and maybe after November 22, he should be, because China, the Xi Jinping, he is going to have that election where he will be declared as lifetime president, emperor. Okay. So he was telling, he thought, in fact, you will be surprised, the Wang Li, the foreign minister of China, he had, Antony Blinken, the foreign minister of US, spoke to Wang Li how to handle Putin. Just imagine. So in US, there is a lobby which is always pro China. China is there in this thing. Kissinger's Jamana se aa raha. So they Chinese were surprised, and our friend Imran Khan, PTI, he was invited by not invited. In fact, China said, please go there. He used Putin used this as a garb, as a camouflage, because they thought that when Imran Khan will be there, there will be no attack. Whereas CIA first time said the truth, that it is the war is imminent. In fact, CIA failed every time. Iraq, they never could find the WMD, in the Libya, in the Syria, everywhere. When Taliban will come, when Taliban will go to Kabul, and you know how it is. So this has stopped. The perception was not there, and people thought that he is going to leverage this whole forge for negotiation. And he was saying, I will negotiate provided you do this thing. I will negotiate provided do this thing. He was saying, but he was issuing warning also. We never read it. And he has done it. He has done it in the past. He has done it in Georgia. He has done with Chechnya. He has done everywhere. He is not wary of sending boots on the ground. Yes.
So Roll say there's this brilliant George Santayana had once said that those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And talking about CIA's failure, they failed to even notice that 100,000 Russian troops entered Afghanistan in 1979, 1980.
Yes.
And it was a huge intelligence failure. They thought that they won't do it. And it was a massive intelligence failure. And
very true, very true.
Information from, if I'm not mistaken, if memory serves, from not their direct sources, from other sources. I mean, it was an utter intelligence failure, and they had to cover up. Heads were rolled. Anyway, that's history.
History.
Sir, before I ask the next question, there is this one video which is making the rounds. You said that Europe and US has completely abdicated its responsibility in Ukraine. There is this Professor John Mersheimer. In 2014, he said that, look, you are bringing Ukraine far too close to Europe. This will be disastrous for Ukraine, and then it will be the people of Ukraine who will suffer, and America and Europe will do nothing. They will just say, "Arey Baba, you are on your own." So that video is now has nearly 1 million views, which is uncharacteristic for because academics seldom manage to sell maybe few hundred books which are which are a good read, but not a lot of people will find it interesting, because you need a certain level of knowledge and intellect to read those. So anyway, sir, moving on. The next question is, why has Ukraine become a geopolitical flashpoint?
Balaji, you mentioned about that video. Today, when I got that video, I've yet to see that. But I will tell you before that, this expansionism thing, that NATO expansionism, this was in fact Harvard professor. I'll just two line. Let me mention this because this will be interesting. Yes, Harvard professor Stanley Hoffman. He was the one who told Thomas Friedman of New York Times in 1993 that this expansionism business should be stopped, and we should not go there, because really this will be a big problem, what Mashna is saying. And in fact, a lot of US diplomats had agreed. The Strop Talbot had agreed, who was the deputy former Secretary of State with whom Jaswant Singh had a long talk. And all this happened during the Clinton era. Okay. And in fact, Henry Kissinger also agreed first. But then they all went anti this thing. And they thought that this enlargement will bring more peace, they will bring some buffer zone and all those weird thinking. And this is what Putin has said again and again. He's wary of NATO because their intention is not clear. See, they always irritate you. They always provoke you. They have been provoking. In fact, in September 2017, this chap Zelensky signed an agreement with the European Union when this chap Putin and the whole their Donbas region is already under fire on the separatism. So you are putting fuel in the fire. So हाथ तो जलेगा भाई. हाँ, you said why this flashpoint, this Ukraine is a flashpoint. See, there are you only said no, the cultural ties is there. One thing which you have to understand, the cultural ties is very important. See, let's go to the 9th century, where the first state by the Grand Prince Volodymyr, he was that prince who established the empire in the Kievan Rus. Kievan Rus is where the present day Kiev. And from there, this Slav empire was built up, and this Belarus, Russia, and Ukraine, they draw lineage from there. That Slavic connection is there. The cultural ties is there. Historical ties is there. Brotherhood, bonhomie is there. That's why in 1954, in fact, Crimea was transferred from Russia to the Ukraine to increase the bonhomie. And there is another thing also. The cultural, why every 1/3 of the Ukrainians speak Russians? Because it's by design. By design means the great Catherine, she had done what we call in 1800 demographic change. She had sent a lot of Russians to the Ukraine area, and then in 1800 and in 1940, in fact, Stalin also did. He relocated some ethnic Tatars from that place, and went. So the demographic change was done primarily, as you mentioned earlier, the eastern area is a rich defense, big establishment is there, is a granary, iron ore, mineral ore, rich in resources, all those things are there. And the main thing is today it is the fight of the ego between two Vladimir. Now this Vladimir Putin, and here is Volodymyr Zelensky, the same, and they all have got that Kievan Russian, the great Prince Volodymyr. So it is like Krishna, you say in East, and in Gujarat and Maharashtra, you say Krishna. Pronunciation different. Volodymyr, Vladimir. That's all. But these two gentlemen, one wants that super macho power. He wants to reform. He wants to revive imperialism. He wants to bring unification. He is dreaming in some his old world. And the Zelensky, he is pro-Western. He wants to, and he's a comedian. So he could not understand what this is. He's a basically actor. This actor could not understand the psyche of this ex-KGB. And that's why the flashpoint, because when the ego clashes without understanding, it happens. So this is where it has hit very badly. You have not understood. And you went unnecessary, created a problem for you. That is the main problem.
So
to build the
it was a bad idea to poke Russia, because in the 1990s, they were completely dependent upon America.
Yes.
Yeltsin was not an effective leader, and he could easily be manipulated. And, when you have power, you can dictate terms, like India is now dictating terms from a position of strength. You can never dictate anything from a position of weakness. So anyway, my next question is, I'm going to divide it into two parts.
Yes.
Has China overplayed its hand in Ukraine? Because now I don't think Putin would be sharing the goodies with China, because he does not want China to be militarily superior, even though economically China is superior. But Putin has two things going on with him. It's a binary economy. It has arms and weapons and oil and mineral resources. Those are the only two things. Putin has not developed other things. Maybe he might change. He might bring in the software sector or manufacturing sector in USSR, which is quite possible. He might do that. But has China overplayed its hand in Ukraine? Part two, has it emboldened China that it has now set its design on Taiwan? I will come to India a bit later, because India is not Taiwan, India is not Ukraine. So, sir, if you could elaborate on those two questions.
See, embolden China. China is a country which has very perseverance. It goes very meticulous planning, strategic planning. So it will definitely learn from this. It has always learned. But one thing is there: China cannot do what Putin has done. It is wary of go for contact war. It goes for the info war, legal war, media war, all those non-kinetic war. It goes in the hybrid. It is very comfortable in deception, deceit, and all those kinds of things. It doesn't go fight. So embolden China. China will definitely try to analyze this thing. Will it go for Taiwan? There is a school of thought. Again, I said in November 2022, this chap is going for election. And today, there is a murmur in the CCP. There is some voices against Xi Jinping. And though he's under control, but trade and everything, COVID, everything has impacted. So there is a murmur. Xi Jinping is looking, in case he finds that it is going to be some problem, then he'll definitely do something like what Russia has done it. But chances are less. Chances are that he will not go. In fact, you remember German naval chief who was here. So he had said that, Baba, to America or to the Western countries, please, China is the number one. You are unnecessarily going after the Russia. Anyway, he had given the warning. But right now, I don't think China will do anything. In fact, China itself is shocked. And yes, you are right. Russia is not going to share more things. Russia is aware of China's intention. Everybody is aware. See, today, earlier Russia was having the maximum trade with Ukraine. Russia was having maximum trade with Kazakhstan. But in both these countries, the ex-protectorate or whatever you say, ex-former Soviet republics or whatever, China has entered. So China is displacing Russia. And China is decreasing the sphere of influence, which Putin never likes. But because China has got money back, so Putin is tolerating China. They will a day will come in the Arctic Circle when they will be one-to-one, eyeball to eyeball confrontation. That is the story, long story and different story.
Well, actually, this may come as a surprise to a lot of people, but Russia has more troops with the Chinese border, and the Chinese have more troops with the Russian border
yes,
than with
longest,
India.
Longest border.
Yeah, longest border, and has maximum number of troops there, which is also a massive consideration for China for taking on India. I won't get into that. A lot of people were asking me that, oh, you are interviewing Air Vice Marshal Sinha, ask him about India. And I said, no, India and China are not in play right now. China won't do that. China is merely testing the waters. It is just prodding. And it got a very nice response in Galwan, where we unfortunately lost 20 soldiers to their deception and treachery. But China knows what will happen if they go mano a mano with India, with Indian Army and Indian Air Force. And we do have certain advantages. And even if they try to destroy our air bases, we'll be operational in 48 hours. So if that point, if you can just 1 minute, if you can take, it's something which I think a friend of mine insisted that please ask. So they said that China has superior missile power. They can, conventional. I'm talking about conventional. So they can destroy our air bases, and then we will not be operational. So if you could just a minute or so.
See, tell your friend that he should not get worried. India is India, and China will never attack India until it is wary of the body bags. Please understand, no contact with this thing. And China is not fool to engage India at the terrain, at the place which is not what advantages to it. It will not go for a Himalayan terrain. It is looking into the South China Sea, and it is looking for the trade, energy sector. It is the South China Sea, which is the Indo-Pacific region, is the main the area of contestation, and that is there. China is not fool to engage India as a power and go for a war. China is a businessman, wants to trade, wants to do this thing, but the way of doing Chinese business is a bit abrasive. They don't know how to do the deceptive. They are very they are not trustworthy. So all those things are. This will take the whole this will hijack from the Ukraine. This thing. Please ask your friend. Be cool, calm. Nothing is going to happen. They will never. They have been given a big slap, and that's all. 20 soldiers, but their 40 plus soldiers are.
It is estimated over 100. They say that it's like something
yes,
100, 150.
Yes, you can tell that, but there is. China is not going to 110%. Please, right? It has got a different tactics. The tactics is different, bullying tactics, and all those things. So we can tackle that. China is not a big problem for India. Yes, they are superior in war hardware. We are becoming Atmanirbhar. Thanks, China, to wake up from slumber. Thanks.
We are now entering into the semiconductor manufacturing business, but better late than never. So, sir, now, as I said earlier, that this Ukraine situation has global implications, ramifications, and now India is being asked to pick sides. Fortunately, we are not what we were, say, even 10 years ago. I'm just going 10 years back, because if the situation had occurred at that time, we would be caught in a situation where we would be forced to remain neutral, but not in a good way. Right now, we are neutral, but we are neutral on our terms. We can change our gear. We can put pressure on Russia. Maybe we can put some pressure on America, but we are in that kind of a situation. So one analyst was saying that these sanctions are useless, and they equated the sanctions to siege weapons of the medieval era. When you surround a fortified city and you starve the people to death. America did that with Iraq from 1991 onwards till 2003. It invaded. It completely wrecked Iraq, and hundreds of thousands of children died unnecessarily. It was not necessary to, cripple Iraq. Iraq was a very nice country. I've heard wonderful things about Iraq. I'm not advocating Saddam Hussein as a nice person. He is not. He's a butcher. But, you can deal with Saddam Hussein, but you cannot deal with ISIS or, Osama bin Laden. They are unreasonable. Saddam Hussein was a man of reason. So this whole thing, again, issue of Katsa is coming. What is your take on that, sir? That India is going to now get the, short end of the sharp end of the stick. And it's going to get a beat down by America and Europe. Like Gora Saab aake thappad marega, humko bolega, naughty boy, raste pe aaja.
It's gone the days. Tell Buddha Biden he should not dream it, and we are not the India of Astorius. Please tell everybody. Let's be very clear. There is a lobby which is saying that yes, India should be sanctions should be accorded, and S-400 and our shipbuilding, our AK-403 that in Korva, which is going to be manufactured, they may get affected. But I have got my own feeling. America will not go. They have not levied sanction on the US. They have not taken out the SWIFT on the Russia. They have not taken out any sanction on the levied sanction on the Nord Stream 2. So what they're talking of the India is going to be pivotal in the Quad Indo-Pacific region. Indo-Pacific war has to be fought. Then India is going to be the prime. The France knows and everybody knows. So please, nobody should have any mind that Katsa can be levied. They can think of, they will find it. Plus, we are not a neutral. We are reliable. Please understand. We are the most trusted. Putin rings up to Modi ji and says, please, now you can negotiate. This war is going to be ended soon. And in fact, Ukraine is also saying, India, please come. And Biden will also say, India, you come when China will come. Biden, I think he was the longest serving chap in the bureaucracy and foreign affairs. He has been in the since ages. He knows China is the number one, but somehow he's not able to prevail upon. So that is the problem. The problem is he has to show his strength. So that is the thing. But I don't think nobody. And Russia, what America will do, they have only what you said, Saddam Hussein, all this. They only injected the steroid of jihadism in the Afghanistan. They only brought Taliban. They only created the Syria, the ISIS. They only they have radicalized. They have built all these things. So Iraq, Libya, Syria, everywhere. That's what the whole Putin is saying. So don't worry. We are very much nearer to Russia. At the same time, we want a world order of a real this thing, where a free market is there. At the same time, we are very, very conscious of our role. And best thing is that we have the foreign minister, a very, very, one of the most ablest foreign minister. We have the NSA, Mr. Dover and Mr. Modi. So there is absolutely no problem on foreign affairs side. Nobody should have any doubt on our capability, on our capacity. And I don't think, in my view, it's zero. And US is abandoning their allies. US, you can't. And Russia also trusts. Not only Russia has helped us. We have helped Russia in 1990. It was in when Su-30 deal was being signed. That was them Elsin, and I think Elsin or Putin. They asked Nasimara government to pay for the money without getting the Su-30 MKI consideration or RFP or anything. Was the CC's approval nahi hua tha, and we paid money cash, the hardcore. This is the point. So people should know that we have helped Irkutsk, the factory, the Irkutsk town today is surviving the whole thing because of us. We have paid. So Russia, our bonds go wrong. So we should not worry, and things will be not that far. It will not be taken that far. Hopefully, I will be surprised if I go wrong.
So we actually exceeded our time limit by a few minutes, but
Yeah.
the subject is so interesting. So last question, sir, end game.
Yes.
I'm going to just use these two words, end game. There has to be an end. You can't
Yeah,
have
and,
war in perpetuity.
yes,
I mean, it can't be perpetual. End game.
Yes, sir. So end game is very simple. Through air power, favorable air situation has been established. The air superiority is there. Now the whole atmosphere is conducive for negotiation as per Russia. This gentleman Zelensky should come for negotiation as early as possible. And I am looking by tonight or by tomorrow, things will be over. Share market will bounce again on Monday. You don't worry about that. Things will be stabilizing within tonight and tomorrow. The whole because day has been chosen on Thursday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday was the estimated within 72 hours. The whole planning has been done. Putin will not enter Kiev. He doesn't want a war. He just wants to cabinet government, remove the government, or probably the government should give a writing that they will be neutral, but he will go for replacing this chap. So that is change of guard is the main this thing. He may ask for that, but yes, negotiation possible. Let's see. And but a big caveat. But what happens that like in Urdu mein, I will just recite one this thing. Ki, it is actually based on the ishq wo aatish galib ki lagaye na lage, bujhaye na bujhe. So in love, na, you don't know when it started and when it is going to end. The same thing. Jang wo aatish galib कि जो लगाए तो लगे, you can initiate, but if in time बुझाए ना बुझे, अगर if you are not in time, you are dipping it, it will be just extinguishing it, it will continue. So the caveat is, if Putin prolong this, it will be end for his era. It will end for his era. Already the protests started, so he has to end. Probably Putin knows this thing. He will end by tonight or by tomorrow. The thing we should be seeing some good news tomorrow, and negotiation will start soon. If not, please understand, we are entering in a very, very very fluid situation, very unpredictable. World war has always happened not in Middle East, but always in Europe, and we will be then staring at World War III. Though I may be proven wrong, but if it prolongs and if something happens, something can go wrong. So these are the things which probably will not happen. We should see interesting time, may not happy ending, but sad. But yes, negotiation may take place soon, and the benchmark is to go back on the Minsk Accord, because that was where we left it. So they can put the thing and they can sort it out, the Minsk Accord. That's all. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, sir. So thank you very much for making time, sir. And I just want to say that Putin is a very rational person, a reasonable person, very rational. He was pushed to a corner, and the people of Ukraine are now paying the price. And if there is a, let's just say, a puppet regime, which the West will call, it will also impose sanctions on Ukraine. So Ukraine, either way, whether at the hands of Russia or at the hands of US, is now suffering. So with that, Air Vice Marshal Sinha, thank you very much for coming on Bharat Vichar, sir. You were very eloquent and you gave detailed information. You went back into history. It was a learning experience for me. Thank you very much, sir. And I hope that you will again grace Bharat Vichar with your presence, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind. Jai Hind.